Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. That was pretty crazy before. I'm sorry if you guys were on and you saw that I wound up having to go off. I kept hearing my video, my intro video playing. It's so crazy. The energies are so high and changing, and the reason why is because there's a lot of emotion going on right now. There's a lot of people that are feeling a lot of different things. The world is in kind of disarray. We're in the midst of a spiritual shift, a paradigm shift, and whenever there's a paradigm shift, it creates an awakening within us. And sometimes we experience a rude awakening. And a rude awakening is where we're forced to look at our life and forced to look at certain things in our life that need to be changed. So if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura, and I'm going to do a message for whoever that lands on this. And energy is a fluid, so roles could be reversed. You may have to flip it, switch it. Just interpret the message as it best resonates for you. Now, again, if you're new to the channel, you'll know that anything that you want to know about the channel that's of any relevance, you'll find in the description box, such as my social media tags, my other YouTube channels, and my subscriptions that are on Patreon. If you're interested in purchasing the Psychic Soul Healer Oracle system or want to get certified in becoming a Psychic Soul Healer, there is membership through my Patreon link, as well as a mediumship one, and just subscriptions to the channel itself. You can find everything again in that description box. Now, if you're interested in participating in my giveaways, the giveaway that I'm doing now is if you listen to the video and you like the video, you subscribe to the channel, and you write the word psychic healer in your comment bar, then you have an opportunity to win a free psychic soul reading with me. All you have to do is see whether or not I wrote the word winner underneath your comment. Now, if I did, you'll reach out to me at pureenergyhealer70@gmail.com. You'll let me know the times that you'll be available, and we will decide what time, and we'll be able to do your free reading. Now, all readings are done live streamed on the channel, so you have to be willing to do that. And the reason why is because it's about energy exchange. This is a healer channel, and so is all about healing. So we learn about the law of energy. And so the law of energy is things need to be of equal reciprocity. So a lot of times in relationships, what we know is that we wind up giving more in a relationship, right? And we say, well, it's just the way that I am, or I enjoy doing it, or I tend to be more intuitive and sensitive and tend to be that healer. But you don't want to be an unhealed healer where you're continually giving out and never getting back. So the law of energy is what I go by, even on this channel. And so what I see is if somebody wants to participate in winning a free reading, and they, do those three things: subscribe to the channel, like the video, and again, write the comment in the comment bar, and then reach out to me through my email once they see that I've commented back, well, then they should be open to, again, doing the reading, realizing that I'm doing a free reading for them. So I want to grow my channel. It's a way to grow my channel. It's also a way that other people that wind up listening to the live stream, if they wind up listening to it, a lot of times they resonate with your message, because spiritual energy works like that. Whatever you're seeking is seeking you. So if you're seeking guidance, Now, that guidance will come any which way, sometimes through signs and symbols through the universe. Sometimes you turn on the radio, the TV, a friend says something. Your intuition just, again, compels you to take action because you were inspired by that intuition. And that is what changes your situation. Well, it's again, the reading, all readings really on YouTube are work that way. That it's an energy, that we're energy beings, and like goes to like. You're a mirror of what and who comes into your life. Problem is that sometimes we don't like what comes into our life, and that is why I designed the Psychic Soul Healer channel, because that means there are shadow aspects of yourself, and those shadow parts of yourself are the unconscious parts of yourself that have trauma. Again, the trauma based beliefs are ones that create distorted perceptions about ourselves and the world around us, and they carry karmic themes, and they play out as karmic experiences. And so not all karmic experiences are bad, but we tend to associate karma with bad because we learn through pain and suffering. That's what the ones that we remember the most, that are, and the situations that create the most pain are the ones that actually grow us the most. They create the most awareness, they make us change on a lot of different levels. So this is why karmic. Now some situations are good, again, and the ones that are good help us see ourselves in a more positive light. Now, karmic situations that play out that are bad doesn't mean that we're bad, but it means that we, on some level, are in alignment more with what we don't want. And so that would play out as sabotaging behavior. So when I'm doing a reading, what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the um, the underlying spiritual energy. And then we're going to look at what the soul wounds are. We're going to look at the triggers, and then we're going to look at the hidden truths and then the actual storyline. So it's done a little bit different, but the more times that you watch my channel, the more that you'll understand my style, right? We all have a gift of style. That's our unique individuality. Our unique individuality is based on, again, what resonates with us, what we are drawn to. And so the channel works like that. So if you're looking for healing, then this is a channel for you. So it's not just about prediction, because a lot of times we wouldn't like our prediction. So that's why I say it's a healing style channel, because like I said, really the power always lies within you. You are the alchemist of your life, depending on what you choose to do, right? So depending on the medicine that you bring into your situation. And when we're talking medicine, almost as in totem or spiritual spirit animals, the medicine is the power, the energy that you need to bring into your situation in order to balance out your situation. Because when we're dealing with spiritual, we're dealing with psychological and emotional, because you're really only in physical form to learn and to manifest. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. So when we are sending spiritual energy, what are we doing? We're sending the thought and the emotion. When we have a connection to a soulmate twin flame, there is that energetic cord that we can feel. And then there's also the language of ESP, and that we're able to transmit thought and emotion, because again, there is that karmic cord that we have with that person. And that is when we recognize the person. So which that all in itself, it could be confusing, especially if we have someone that we have such a deep connection with, but then how they're treating us is not the way that it should be. They should be treating us really nicely and with unconditional love, and instead they're fighting the situation. Instead they're triggering us, and they're stirring up really uncomfortable emotions. So again, it's all about healing, instead of, because when we say healing, it puts the power back to ourselves. And that's what this channel is all about. It's all about empowering and healing. So invincibility. So I'm feeling like automatically right off the bat that, again, two people, whether you're in separation or whether or not you're together, feel as if the bond is invincible, like that nothing can break it, that it's been through a lot. And maybe it's because even though you've been in separation, I'm feeling with your person that they can still feel that energetic bond. Now, for you, if you're a spiritual person, that might not be a big deal. But for a person that is tended to look at life through a logical, linear perspective and doesn't really believe in spiritual, tended to be more of a business mind, again, come more from a logical and analytical perception, which is more of the ego, for them to feel it, the invincibility and that energetic bond, it's almost surreal to that person. There's a sense of that they want to get to know you more, that you hold a lot of mystery to them just because that you have this. They've never had this type of connection before. Um, this is wild card that I should have actually taken out of my deck. It's a brand new deck. So I figured I would use a brand new deck for this channel. Okay, Christ consciousness. So this again tells me about unconditional love, because really God is unconditional love, right? And when we're evolving into higher states of consciousness, we are shifting from a fear-based consciousness and an ego perception, which is based on what I see is what I know is what I believe, just the facts. Just what I see, what I know, what I've experienced. But the problem is if your person has only experienced um, lusty type of relationships, like they're attracted to that person, but they don't have that spiritual connection to that person, then what happens is that they feel as if, they can run hot and cold, and they'll be with a person for a certain amount of time, and then it's easy for them to walk away, right? Because it's like, well, after you get with the person, and if it was only built on the physical, there's only so much of that that's going to keep a person interested. It's almost like if chocolate ice cream is your favorite ice cream and you're eating that morning, noon, and night, and that's all that you're getting, after a while you don't like chocolate ice cream anymore. Now, you may have been the chocolate ice cream at one point for your person, is what I'm feeling. And then there was separation. And both parties don't think the same way. Both parties there is a very strong spiritual connection. But when there's a spiritual connection, the reason why usually is because both parties don't think the same way, but they have very similar traumas. And when they get together, both parties trigger each other to bring out their wounding. So that there is this sense of also this unconditional love, which is Christ consciousness, which is the highest level of consciousness, which is why we're down here in physical form, to learn that we are not separate from unconditional love, that we are not separate from God through obtaining Christ consciousness. But how do you get that? How are you taught that? Well, you are being taught that through your relationship, because even though it's hard, even though it triggers you, there's still this energetic connection. So that's a big deal, because that is what's making your person shift their paradigm, shift their reality, because I think that they didn't think that they could have this type of love because they never experienced it. So again, release fear and ancestral karma. And that's because, again, they came from family, and from a family that didn't have good relationships. And so all their past relationships were, they never worked out. They again started off as there was a connection, but more of an attraction than a connection, and where things happened really really fast. They were out of balance because they never built any ground to it. There was no stability to it. It was based on attraction, lust, that type of energy. But unfortunately, when you don't get to know a person, then what happens is you're only coming from that perception. So your person didn't want to get to know you. It's that they couldn't help but to get to know you because of that connection, that spiritual connection. There was a desire and a mystery to want to get to know you because they never experienced such a deep connection before. But that this deep connection is really bringing them to help them release the fear and ancestral karma. Because if you come from a long line of ancestors that have only gotten divorced and have only had horrible relationships, well, you're not going to be signing up to run back into a relationship because you haven't experienced that. So that is pretty much the underlining spiritual energy that your person is feeling right now, which is, wow, this really is something, because we've been in separation for a really long time, and I'm actually still have feelings for this person, and I can actually still feel that they're energetically still connected to me. So that's helping me release the fear and ancestral karma of realizing that I don't really have to give up me to experience this unconditional love. That you can be angry with someone and not on the same page and not think the same way that they do, and still have feelings for this person and still have this unconditional love. This is this awareness that your person has, which is making them realize that it's real, which is helping them descend again into a higher state of consciousness, which is this Christ consciousness. So the traumas that were really held before and what was keeping this in place really was, I mean, haunted steps towards, like, again, haunted. Like, haunted is like that whatever happened in the past, it was still keeping them like stuck in the present, because again, they was trying to control the relationship. They were trying to, like, like I said, control the relationship. And in them trying to control the relationship, it created a lot of turbulence, which created separation, which then made them feel like, oh, good, see, I don't want this. But then once, like, the emotion settled down and you disappeared, and then what happened is they said, well, I'm still corded to this person. I still have feelings for this person. I can't control what I'm feeling. Which, again, when we're fearful of something, what do we try to do? We try to control it. And that is how your person kept getting in their own way. And that is how it would trigger you too, to not be able to ascend into a higher state of consciousness, because it was making you feel as if they were never really letting you in, that they were always like breadcrumbing you, and so that your emotional needs were never going to be met, which is actually kind of like the same karmic theme that you watched in your home, where your mom or your dad didn't get emotionally what they needed, so that you were inheriting that with this. Because it's, again, a lot of times separation needs to happen for two people to work on themselves, and then at the same time to be able to see that that connection is still there, that you can control it. Unconditional love is just that. There's no ownership, there's no expectation, it just is. And that once the two parties surrender, they can come to a place of this Christ consciousness. but the person had to get grounded first, meaning they're haunted, which means you're thinking about what did happen and how did you feel. Um, Exhibitionist, hogging the spotlight, needing for attention. People love the real you. So again, maybe feeling as if you had to continually fight for this person's attention. Like maybe you felt as if you like needed to be that way. They made you feel as if you were an exhibitionist because you were like, I need for you to show me, and I expect for it to look like ABC. Because again, when we're trying to control our situation, what does that look like? Well, it means that we're steering it towards something. So we may say, well, I want you to stay with me, so I'm going to buy a dog. I'm going to buy things that create, that make us like kind of bond us together, which is a sense of control, or I'm going to make you do X, Y, and Z that you're already responsible before, but it's a way that I keep you like that emotionally. I know that I'm not just with you and you're not, and that I'm going to continually give and you're not going to give me anything. Like I feel like I need to control that, where it's again, if a person is checked out because they're haunted about what has happened, there is no other way but to create the separation. You had to do that. You had to do that. But being that this is a divine connection, really, it didn't matter. The relationship is still very strongly bonded. It still really is like a very strong and intense relationship. But we have to say, well, if someone's not giving me what I need, I'm really can't overgive and feel like, look at me, like we're together. I'm gonna like put us on display. I'm gonna do this to like to try and cement my place in your life. Because love isn't that way. It's like and it should feel easy. It should feel, and really what we see is it is really easy between these two people. Is that they didn't really need to do all that. That was their fear. That was their trauma. Person was saying, I don't, I'm haunted by the past. So I'm looking into the past. And I'm continually afraid that you're going to do everything that everyone else did to me and I'm going to get hurt. And you're saying, well, I'm going to show you that I'm not. So here, everyone, look, we're together. We're together. See, this way you're getting your needs met, which is everyone knows that we're together. See how much we love each other. Maybe we have to like do this. I need to again put us on display, or redirect the relationship the way that I need it to go, which is kind of controlling the relationship, which would create a lot of problems. But what we see with these two is that it doesn't matter, that there was all this control, that in separation, that realized that there was still something special here, which is what needed to happen. I want to look at this and look at what just popped out. Apology. Apology, because understand, like when we come to a place and realize that, oh, well, this really is something special here. I don't really need to control the relationship. So I think that you can expect an apology. You know, I think for a long time you waited for an apology because this person held back. This person breadcrumbed because they were haunted again by nothing that you did, but by what had happened. So then they tried to make it like it was your fault. And so you waited for an apology because where the apology would have been to you, like this person was taking responsibility for how they treated you. But the apology never came, but the apology is finally coming now. But I believe that that was good that you waited for this apology, because if you would have ran back to your person, they wouldn't have without this separation, they wouldn't have felt that energetic connection that is, wait, I have feel all this, we've gone through all this, and our relationship is still like this strong. I want to feel like I want to see how it triggered you. Hobby. The amount of attention and money spent on your hobby is affecting our connection. It triggers me. So I feel like, again, with you, because how I'm reading these cards is different. It's like hobby. I feel like what it did for you is you put your energy into yourself, that you put your time, your energy, and your money into yourself, and that is how it triggered you. It made you take the love that you have for this person and channel it into yourself. And that is really what allowed the space where you said, okay, I'm going to back off because you're so haunted by whatever happened in the past that you're not allowing this relationship to move forward, that and you're trying to control everything, or and then saying that I'm controlling it. I'm going to remove myself and I'm going to put all my time, I'm going to put all my energy into my hobbies, into what I like to do. So of course it did like affect this relationship, and of course it did trigger your person because it made them feel jealous because they never wanted you to leave. They almost wanted you to stay there and get nothing, but they were like, I'm going to figure it out. But they were never going to figure it out because the more it had to, every time they felt uncomfortable, they would again retract. And it was all because whatever was had haunted them, they weren't willing to look at, they weren't willing to heal it, they weren't willing to integrate it. And without integrating it, they would have stayed in this place of fear. It's and live from that level of perception, that level of consciousness, which is the same level of consciousness that was inherited by their ancestors, what they grew up in. And maybe again being connected to someone that emotionally isn't giving to you, or being stuck in the past and not fully giving because of what happened, but that every new situation is different. So really when you put the energy into yourself, really is when you get the apology, which soulmate twin flames a lot of times understand. The separation makes us work on ourselves because understand the pain of the separation. You have to put that energy into somewhere, and either you're going to run back into another relationship, it's not going to be good, or you're gonna be in your time. So really, and then looking for someone to give you to do exactly what you did, which was to put the love in yourself. And then see, instead of sitting around waiting for an apology, which is kind of what you were doing in the beginning, there was a sense of waiting for them to like get their act together and stop like doing what they were doing, and they were never really taking responsibility for it until you backed away. Now let's look at some of the hidden truths. Let's look at the hidden truth. The hidden truth. I know that I crossed the line with you. So again, they realized that they took it to the extreme. That again, continually coming into your life, making it feel like they wanted something, and then as soon as the relationship would start to go, they would again stop themselves, be fearful of, and bring up past relationships, or be fearful due to their past relationships. That after a while, the last time it really was that they crossed the line. So you had to retract. But understand this also is what teaches your person what you'll tolerate and what you won't. How do you think people learn? Just because you may have a very deep spiritual connection to someone doesn't mean that they want to treat you the way that you want them to treat you, especially if that makes them have to open up their heart a little bit more and give a little bit more. And what I see here is your person was haunted by everything with the past, keeping them stuck in ancestral karma, of their behaviorisms, because understand that's really what it is. The core belief keeps us stuck in a behaviorism, which sabotages. And in this sense, was sabotaging your connection to them. And so it took them to cross the line for you to get angry enough in order to get that apology. I hope that you can forgive me one day. So again, that's when a person humbles themselves. So before I felt like there was a sense of being like being triggered and not really, and then almost like feeling as if you were trying to control the relationship and then them trying to control the relationship by not giving you anything. So this power struggle is really like after a while what they like came to realize that they still love you, you still love them, and that this apology that comes, they're hoping that you'll forgive them. um I feel like that I left when I saw you with someone else. I don't know, for some of you guys, I feel like again, part of their thing of being haunted is the fact that they have been cheated on, that they have seen. So I don't, not even feeling like you were with anyone, to be honest with you. I'm feeling as if any little person or situation that came into your thing would trigger that person because they weren't giving enough. And so they were perceiving you as a great catch. They were also feeling guilty because they weren't doing anything to feed this relationship. So anyone that they perceived as in getting close to you, they would again have had left. And I also feel as if the way that your person too would trigger you by not just saying that they were haunted and keeping themselves in the past. I feel like they would create separation by flirting with other people, and that would make you leave. So, like I said, but I don't really feel like there was a real relationship. I feel like there was a lot of manipulation and control to try and trigger the other person to do what they wanted them to do. So you, again, the exhibitionist, wanted to like display your relationship, and then it's like I'm not getting it, so I'm going to hang out with my friends and give my energy to someone else, and that would trigger your person. They still wanted you to give to them, even though they weren't giving you enough. And then when you didn't play that game, they would flirt with other people, which annoyed you, is what made you leave. So there was a lot of mirroring going on because it was a control thing. But due to separation, I feel embarrassed. I will wait for a sign for you because again, they're still caring. It's not that they don't care, but they're embarrassed over the way that they acted. So I don't really see them coming towards you because, like I said, they're going to try and do what's easiest for them, which is I'll wait for you so that I don't have to talk about all that other stuff. So they still need a little bit of healing just because of the separation, and they realize that there's still a spiritual connection to you. I don't see them changing like a lot of their behavior. They still need to change it. You get an apology, but you get an apology because clearly they see that they crossed a line with you. And so they're a little afraid to like approach you due to how they've treated you. So let's see the final message. What are they feeling? What do they think? I'm sorry for being critical of you. I know I hurt you with my harsh words and actions. So it's again because they were haunted by everything that's happened to them in the past. They are sorry. And again, it says you can expect an apology. But as far as what they're going to do, I don't think they have a plan on what they're going to do yet, to be honest with you. I am feeling as if, here it is. I wanted to just pull 3 cards to see what are they going to do, the direction. We're not going to do a full spread on it, but what, because at this point, what I feel is that you both want the relationship. Your person's going to apologize. It was a good thing that you created space. They weren't treating you right. They wanted to give you less than. They're going to apologize because of it. They realize that they've crossed the line. But they almost want to run into you. They almost want it to be easy. They want it, they don't want your person's very insecure is what I'm feeling. It's like they're not just gonna pick up the phone and do it. It's like they're almost, your person thinks too much, and it still again needs healing because even they haven't released this fully because they're still trying to control, because they're trying to strategize how they're going to come back instead of just pick up the phone and talk to the person. They don't want to show vulnerability, which is the issue here because of what has happened in the past. So the first card out is, Queen of Pentacles. So stability. They see you as very stable, but I also feel like they also know if they're going to come to you that they have to bring some sort of stability, which is good because it means that they're creating a structure, but they see you as stable. So if they were planning on coming to you in the past or you felt like they were, I feel that they had second thoughts about it because they knew that they weren't really like that they had to actually bring more than just lip service. Second card out, 10 of cups, and it fell out upright. So it's again the 10 of cups is happiness. So this person sees themselves with you. They think that you're abundant. They think that you both could be abundant together. They see you as their happiness. Again, the separation is what did this. It doesn't mean that there's not healing. So they're planning on coming towards you and bringing some stability. And I'm going to leave it there actually, because this is their plan for now. It doesn't, like I said, Queen of Pentacles, bringing stability. Someone that is established, wants to bring long-term stability. They're practical. So a lot of their strategizing, where before I was getting a little irritated with this person because I'm like, oh, they're back to trying to control it. But it's not that they're really trying to control it. It's that they want to give this relationship the best chances for it to succeed. And that's because they're bringing you, the stability. So they're not as emotional. You're not going to see them talk a lot about their feelings to you. I feel like when they're coming in, that what they're going to do is they're going to bring like a lot of stability they're going to create that, and they're going to win you over in that aspect. And because they do see you as their 10 of cups. So I'm going to leave it there. Now, again, if you resonated with this message, let me know. I want you guys to be interactive. And if you say the word master healer, again, write it in your comment bar and see if I wrote winner. And if I did, reach out to me at pureenergyhealer70@gmail.com. All right, guys, I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.